and welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's December 17th, 2021, and this is episode 77. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing recommendations, commentary, and reviews about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do this thing. New in theaters, we got a lot of films that are showing up here this Christmas season, and I think the main Hollywood studios are hoping that people might start showing up at the theater again. So we've got some films that are opening up today on Friday, December 17th, and then also some more that are opening up next Wednesday, December 22nd, just before Christmas. So first up is Nightmare Alley, which is a drama/film noir from Searchlight Pictures. It's directed by Academy Award winner Guillermo del Toro. This is actually a remake of a 1947 film noir that starred Tyrone Power. And I saw it the other day on Turner Classic Movies and thought it was pretty good. So in Nightmare Alley, an ambitious carny, as a carnival worker, who in the original was played by Tyrone Power, in this new retelling of the story, the carny is played by Bradley Cooper. This carny has a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words, and he hooks up with a female psychiatrist, who in this remake is played by Cate Blanchett, who is even more dangerous than he is. And that's the truth. And from the trailer, it looks like they're sticking to this story, again, that I saw in the original film. They've got a big, good cast. As mentioned, Bradley Cooper and Cate Blanchett. There's Toni Collette, William Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Ron Perlman, and David Strathairn. And again, it looks to be pretty solid. Nightmare Alley is rated R by the Motion Picture Association for strong, bloody violence, some sexual content, nudity, and language, none of which were in the 1947 version, or it was off-screen or implied. So anyway, welcome to the world. So next up is American Underdog. This is a biopic from Lionsgate. It's directed by Andrew Irwin and John Irwin, a.k.a. the Irwin brothers. And it tells the inspirational true story of NFL quarterback Kurt Warner, who in the film is played by Zachary Levi. As you may know, Warner, who's really kind of an inspiring story. He went from basically being, he was stocking shelves at a grocery store, or, just working these kind of menial jobs to keep it going, to becoming a two-time NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion, and Hall of Fame quarterback. The film centers on Warner's unique story and years of challenges and setbacks that could have derailed his aspirations to become an NFL player. But just when his dreams seemed all but out of reach, it is only with the support of his wife, Brenda, who in the film is played by Anna Paquin, and the encouragement of his family, coaches, and teammates, that Warner perseveres and finds the strength to show the world the champion that he already is. I think this is trying to be clearly an uplifting sports film, and what it's the source material would definitely point to that. Let's hope they've done a good job with it. American Underdog is rated PG by the Motion Picture Association for some language and thematic elements. Next up is Spider-Man: No Way Home. This is a comic book / superhero movie from Columbia and Marvel Studios. It's directed by John Watts. And of course, this is based on the Marvel comic book series by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. It's also the third film in kind of this homecoming trilogy of Spider-Man movies. All of these have been directed by John Watts, and all of them have starred Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And for the first time in the cinematic history of Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood hero's identity has been revealed, bringing his superhero responsibilities into conflict with his normal life and putting those he cares about most at risk. That happened in the last film, as we know. When he enlists Doctor Strange's help to restore his secret, the spell tears a hole in their world, releasing the most powerful villains who've ever fought a Spider-Man in any universe. Now Peter will have to overcome his greatest challenge yet, which will not only forever alter his own future, but the future of the multiverse. I'm not a comic book reader, but as you know, in Spider-Man comics, there's this multiverse thing going on where, like, they're like different versions of Spider-Man that exist in these different realms, and or different versions of life on Earth, and of course it's a little mind blowing. But it looks like this film. I know this it is because I got to see the film, and I'll be reviewing it later in the podcast. But they they uh, they take this multiverse stuff and run with it, and it's really fun. So, Spider-Man No Way Home, again, stars Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Zendaya is back in it as MJ. Jacob Batalon is back as Peter Parker's buddy Ned. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Doctor Strange. Who's also played the character in another one of these Marvel Studio films. And Marissa Tomei is back in it as Aunt May. So, Spider-Man No Way Home is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for sequences of action violence, some language, and brief suggestive comments. And again, I'll be reviewing the film in today's podcast. Opening up on Wednesday, December 22nd now, we've got 3 additional films, all of, varied genre and interest. First up is Sing 2, which I have really no interest in, but this is a sequel to Sing, shockingly, an animated musical comedy from Illumination and Universal. It's directed by Garth Jennings. The latest chapter in Illumination's smash animated franchise arrives with big dreams and spectacular hit songs as the ever-optimistic koala, Buster Moon, who is voiced by Matthew McConaughey, and his all-star cast of performers, who are all returning from the original film, prepared to launch their most dazzling stage extravaganza yet, all in Red Shore City, the glittering entertainment capital of the world. From the previews, it kind of looks like it's an animated Las Vegas, but anyway, I don't know. And Chance Rex, I'm not going to know because I don't think I'm going to see this. But there's just one hitch. The group has to persuade the world's most reclusive rock star, who is actually, they've got Bono from U2 to voice his character. It's his animated film debut. For whatever reason, they have to get him to join them. Back in the cast are Reese Witherspoon as Rosita. Scarlett Johansson voices the porcupine Ash. Taron Egerton voices the gorilla Johnny. Anyway, looks to me like it's a lot of the same folks from the first film. And there you have it. So hopefully it's going to be a fun film for families. Sing 2 is rated PG by the Motion Picture Association for some rude material and mild peril violence. Now for something completely different, again, is The King's Man. This is an action-adventure from 20th, and an ultra-violent one, from 20th Century Studios. It's directed by Matthew Vaughn. As a collection of history's worst tyrants and criminal masterminds gather to plot a war to wipe out millions, one man must race against time to stop them. Discover the origins of the very first independent intelligence agency in The King's Man. So this is a continuation. I think that actually I believe this is more of a prequel, but to the Kingsman movies that have been put out again, and they all have been directed by Matthew Vaughn. This movie, I kind of feel for it in that I think they've been trying to release it for like 2 years, and then just because of COVID, it kept getting pushed out, but it finally is opening up next week. I'm mostly grateful because I'm sick to death of the preview theaters. But one thing I did learn is that this is based on a comic book called The Secret Service by Mark Millar and Dave Gibbons. And anyway, the things you learn. This film stars Ralph Fiennes, Gemma Arterton, Rhys Ifans, Tom Hollander, Harris Dickinson, and Daniel Bruhl. It's rated R by the Motion Picture Association for sequences of strong, bloody violence, language, and some sexual material, all of which I believe because I felt I didn't love the other Kingsman films just because they were a little too violent for my taste. So I'm probably going to skip this one. And there you have it. Last up, though, opening up next week is a long-awaited. Well, I guess it's one of those movies that I didn't think that I needed, but I'm actually very excited to see it. It's The Matrix Revolutions. So we've got another Matrix movie. This is a sci-fi action pick. It's from Warner Brothers. Directed again by Lana Wachowski. And it's the long-awaited next chapter in the groundbreaking franchise that redefined the genre. You know, I recently rewatched the original Matrix and just was reminded that's really just such a visually stunning movie. You know, it's not perfect, but really supremely entertaining sci-fi, and it just got me excited for this new version. Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss are back in the iconic roles they made famous as Neo and Trinity. And in The Matrix Resurrections, return to a world of two realities. One, everyday life, and then the other, what lies behind it. To find out if his reality is a physical or mental construct, to truly know himself, Mr. Anderson, a.k.a. Neo, a.k.a. Keanu Reeves, will have to choose to follow the White Rabbit once more. And if Neo has learned anything, it's that choice, while an illusion, is still the only way out of or into the Matrix. Of course, Neo already knows what he has to do, but he doesn't yet know is that the Matrix is stronger, more secure, and more dangerous than ever before. Anyway, I'm excited. It looks like it's going to be, I think it has potential to be interesting. Let's hope it's good. It's opening in theaters on December 22nd. Because it's Warner Brothers picture being released in 2021, it's also going to be available on HBO Max next week, also on December 22nd. So anyway, The Matrix Resurrections is rated R by the Motion Picture Association for violence and some language. So lots of interesting choices for this Christmas holiday, and hope you can go out and have some fun and be safe at the movie theater. All right, for reviews this week, first up, I'd like to review Steven Spielberg's adaptation of West Side Story. Now, as you know, West Side Story was a hit Broadway play. It opened in 1957. And the film version, that is definitely one of my all-time favorite movies, was released in 1961. That was co-directed by Robert Wise and Jerome Robbins, and also just cleaned house at the Academy Awards that year, including winning, best directors for Wise and Robbins, and also best picture that year. When I heard that Steven Spielberg, who's again one of my favorite living directors, was wanting to revisit this material, I just kind of rolled my eyes, frankly. I just thought, why do we need another version of West Side Story? But then I started, thinking about it and getting more excited about it because, I think the material is timeless and also, sadly, still very relevant for the way our society is today. And then I just absolutely love the music so much by Leonard Bernstein, and then of course the lyrics by the late great Stephen Sondheim. So anyway, I kind of changed my tune about it. I recently saw an interview with Steven Spielberg, and he was just really focused on the 1957 play. So not really interested in, a quote unquote remake. I like the word adaptation. I also like the word revival. You're thinking about maybe this is a more of a musical revival of the material, that often happens on Broadway with classic shows. This movie is stunning. Uh, I can't speak highly enough of this film. Again, going in not necessarily with trepidation, but just again kind of curiosity, and within 10 minutes, I was just absolutely completely mesmerized by it all. Spielberg worked with screenwriter Tony Kushner, and it's West Side Story. They didn't change it, but they added a few details or some other minor modifications, again to the film version that I'm more accustomed to. And I should say I've never seen a high, like a professional version of this show on the stage. I've seen like a high school production and whatnot, but never an actual professional kind of Broadway caliber production. So I'm mostly just familiar with the film. But still, Spielberg was focused on that 1957 stage version. As a boy, he said in this interview, his parents had the original Broadway cast recording of this show, and he was just, possessed by it. He's loved it. And so it's always been kind of in the back of his mind, and then finally, kind of late in his career, he decided to tackle it. It's his first musical, and wow, I think he just hit it out of the park. Again, not being a director, but I don't think musicals are particularly easy to make, or particularly or to make a good one. There's so much going on, as far as how you film the choreography, how the actors kind of break into song. Is it organic, or is it, does it feel forced? There's so much stuff going on. And again, Spielberg is such a good filmmaker that he just brings this material to life. It's so vibrant. They don't change they didn't change a thing with the score, with the Bernstein score. There's one song that's added, and I wouldn't even necessarily call it a song. It's the Sharks, from Puerto Rico are they sing a Puerto Rican anthem, and I think it's just more. It was a smart move just to show their unity, or to establish that. But otherwise, you've got an amazing recording of this Bernstein score. It was directed by Gustavo Dudamel, who, again, is a world famous conductor, and the credits say that primarily the music was done by the New York Philharmonic, and also the Los Angeles Philharmonic contributed too, and Dudamel actually is the conductor of the Los Angeles Philharmonic, but the music is the star, is one of the main stars of the show. Spielberg also, I think, clearly took great care in casting this film. He wanted to make sure that everybody who was cast was ethnically appropriate. I think that's one of the many criticisms of the 1961 version. And he succeeds. The casting is great, because not only are they ethnically appropriate, these are just incredibly talented performers who can sing. One of the things that gets very frustrating to me about Hollywood musical adaptations, of Broadway shows, is they often hire actors that just aren't really great singers, and it's so frustrating. Whereas everybody's got, you know, has got chops. They can sing, and the cast is spectacular. Speaking of the cast, Rita Moreno, who played Anita in the 1961 film version, who also won an Academy Award for that role, she is back. She's in this film, and what Spielberg and screenwriter Kushner decided to do was Doc, who runs the drugstore where Tony works, and where it's kind of a hangout for these gang members. Doc's widow, who's a Puerto Rican woman named Valentina, Rita Moreno is in this role. She takes over that role in this film. So she's Doc's widow, but she's a wonderful presence and gives really a magnificent performance too. I just again, I was wondering if that was going to be a good change in the and it was great. I thought it really worked well within the context of the film. Sadly, this film is just as as much a tragedy as it ever is. That I know is one of the big problems. I don't know if I'd call it a problem, but West Side Story is just so sad. It's just this very preventable tragedy. But I just loved every second. Was mesmerized by Spielberg's camera work and just wonderful storytelling, and I just can't recommend it enough. It's definitely, I think it's probably my number one favorite film of the year, and I just hope you'll go see it on the biggest screen possible. I had a chance to see it. I saw it on the small screen, or the small screen, but like just a traditional movie theater, and I also got to see it in an IMAX format. And holy cow, IMAX one! I just wanted them just to play it again, to see it on the big screen. But it was mostly just to hear that glorious music on the wonderful IMAX speakers. I just loved it. So go see West Side Story. I think you'll be in for a treat, and it's a remake that is definitely worth your time and money. Next up in reviews is the brand new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. I had a chance to see that today, so I'm glad I can just kind of talk about it right after I've seen it. One thing that I wish I could replicate for you all you wonderful listeners, is the chance to see Spider-Man No Way Home in a theater full of Spider-Man fans. So because this is opening weekend, the theater that I saw it in was packed. This is the fullest movie theater I've been in since, for 18 plus months. And clearly just full of devoted Spider-Man fans who love this character, who love these movies, and also know that they know the lore. they know the story, they know the comic books, they know the characters, and they know the movies. So this movie, and I'll keep this spoiler free, because there will be a lot of ways to spoil this movie, but it actually is a wonderful tribute to all the Spider-Man movies that have come before it. Tobey Maguire played Spider-Man. He was the first kind of big screen version of Spider-Man. Back in the day, it got rebooted with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and now here we've got Tom Holland. I prefer these Tom Holland movies overall, although the first two Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire were were absolutely terrific. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. But about that. But this movie, surprisingly, brings in a kind of makes us all like come full circle, which I thought was very unexpected. As you've seen in the trailers, the premise of this film is that now that people know who Spider-Man is, that it's Peter Parker. Peter Parker's life is just kind of gone to hell. I mean, it's so hard. He's still trying to be Spider-Man, and he's still trying to go to school and get ready for college, etc. Keep up his relationship with MJ, but his life's hard. He gets hounded by the press and all sorts of stuff going on. So he has this idea that maybe he can go to Doctor Strange, who's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who's got this place in New York City, as we learned from the Doctor Strange movie, and then from some of these other Marvel Studios things. And the spell goes horribly wrong. I mean, it's Peter's fault. But what happens is, rather than everybody forgetting that Peter is Spider-Man, these portals open up and villains from the past come in. The first one that we see is Doc Ock, or Dr. Octopus, that was in one of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. And you've seen been in a trailer or seen the trailer where people kind of went nuts over that. It was just quadruple that when it actually happened in the movie theater today. That was really fun to experience. But also, they tease it and it happens. The Green Goblin comes back, and anyway, it's a problem. It's a problem for Peter and for everybody to try to solve this. I've just mostly enjoyed having. I think Tom Holland, as I mentioned, is a very good Spider-Man, and I've liked the tone that the director John Watts has set for this, where there's some gravitas to it, but also there's a lot of humor. And I like that, that Peter is still in high school. That's worked, and that we haven't. And anyway, I think they've just done a lot of really smart things. And I just felt overall this was a very smart film that I think really most every Spider-Man fan is gonna have just a total blast with. I thought it was. I just thought it was really. Really well done. So definitely, if you're a Spider-Man fan, go see Spider-Man: No Way Home. Well, that does it for this episode of the Movies Past and Present podcast. Again, links and more information about the movies discussed in today's podcast can be found in the podcast notes on my blog at moviespastandpresent.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Links are also on the blog. And please follow me on Instagram. My handle is @moviespap, as in past and present. As always, I hope you will enjoy some good movies this week, whether they be from the past or the present. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, be safe out there and dedicate yourself to the truth.